Hey everyone, looks like I'm live. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Sorry it's a little bit later than what we usually do the solo show. Typically I do it on Tuesday, but there wasn't really a whole lot in the news and I was just feeling like I needed to just rest and recharge that day. So glad that we were able to do it this week. How's everyone doing? All right. Thank you all so much for joining. I haven't watched much of the news, so I don't know what's all going on. I mean, I catch little bits and pieces, but I've been pretty busy this last week. Um, but I just want to do some announcements before we get started into the questions. Yeah, it's hot and humid here too, Mountain Dancer. So for anybody that didn't catch it, I did a show with Simple Harmony. I posted it on my community tab. We did our show Wednesday night. I think she posted it yesterday. So make sure to go check that out. Go subscribe to her channel if you're not already. We had a good show together. And just a couple reminders next Monday. So that is June 24th. We'll have our members live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be doing mini personal readings. We'll also be doing our monthly drawing for a free reading or Reiki session with myself. So anybody interested in that, the members link is in the description box of this video. And I should do my show on Tuesday if we have an active news day. And then next Wednesday, I'll be on Lori, the Way of Positive Changes channel in the evening, I think 7 p.m. Eastern. Me and Mel won't be, well, Mel and I won't be doing the Thursday night shows for a few weeks. He's in Africa, and then when he gets back, it's the 4th of July. So we'll get together, I think the second week of July. And also, if anybody wants to book a reading or a Reiki session, you can do so on my website, kevinlovingvibrations.com. I do think I'm booked up until about middle of July, but still have some openings for July if anybody's interested in that. Do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get started into some readings. All right. So if you want to submit a question, just go ahead and write it in the chat, all caps, a couple of emojis, and I'll get to as many as possible today. Probably won't be on for a full hour because I have a reading right after our shortly after this video. So probably be on for like 45 minutes, 50 minutes today. Oh, thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. I haven't seen anybody post it, but let's just throw some cards on if there's going to be a Trump-Biden debate. I've shared before that I felt like Trump's going to back out last minute, but let's see where the energy stands right now. That's for no. I kind of hope that there is a debate. I think, Trump being on his own with his cognitive decline, I don't see him doing very well. Talking about sharks and getting electrocuted and just weird ramblings. I almost feel like it's like the day of or the day before where Trump says, no, it's rigged. I'm not going to debate, his usual stick. No, I get a no. The first card out is a death card, which is a no card. It's an ending. I do get that I think those around him would be like, it's not wise to do so. So there's some anxiety about Trump actually debating, but he's going to push on and, continue to kind of struggle. He doesn't feel well energetically to me, not even just the mental stuff, but physically he feels very, very tired. Like everything's very overwhelming for him, but that's a card of like empowerment, and he'll try to stick up for himself and see that it was rigged, heading in a different direction here. We'll see. I hope he does, but I definitely don't feel a debate in September. But I almost feel though too, like if it happens right before the scheduled time, Biden would still go out there and answer questions, um, and do pretty well. All right, you guys. Oh, yeah, Finney's sleeping behind me. All right. Thank you, Ness. No, I don't think Trump would physically lose his cool and attack Biden. I don't see that at all, Linda. All right. Yeah, I don't see the Supreme Court um, intervening to keep Bannon out of jail. When's he supposed to? When's he supposed to to be? Well, he's already been sentenced, but when does he go to jail? Is it July 1st? Not too far out there. I think that will be good too. So he won't be out there getting the MAGAs all riled up right before the election. All right. Yeah, and I did hear about. Let's take a look at Cannon. I did hear that two other judges said, maybe it's best if you step down and she won it. I mean, I think it's pretty clearly obvious she's in over her head, and we know who she's benefiting. I kind of feel like she was kind of put into there. It doesn't feel like it was very fair or ethical with how she was placed as the judge. Something sketchy about that. Let's take a look at her. All right. Yeah, and that was an unusual leak too. I almost feel like a female, somebody inside the court, maybe when it doesn't feel like it's connected to Cannon, it feels like maybe connected to one of the other judges that leaked that they asked her to get off the case, not to take it. And she's trying to hang in there. She's not ready to quite go yet. All right, Judge Cannon. I feel like Jack Smith is going to get her removed here very shortly. It's either next month, July or August. It's within the next few months. Yeah, she's got some anxiety and a tower moment happening. To me, it feels like September. It feels like an even bigger leak. Obviously, the cards are saying she's trying to hold on to the power position here. Trying to make it to make the energy scattered, unfocused. It's to delay the trial, and we know. But I almost feel like there was some kind of material gain to slow this down. She's getting kind of tired, like she can't keep on defending Trump, and because it looks and it smells, it's pretty obvious. But she's got something coming out that's going to leave her pretty anxious and scared, and then an implosion. I almost wonder if she's out by August or September off the case. I don't see her on there for very much longer. I don't feel like her and Trump directly talked, but it felt like there are some outside channels that communicates Trump's wishes to her and vice versa. And I almost wonder if that being exposed after she's removed off the case. Oh, it could be rose blue. I think this hearing about Jack's validity and being appointed special counsel is the final straw for the upper judges. Yeah, it very well could be. I don't see her on there for much longer. Yeah, let's talk about the weather. I talked about it a little bit with Sybil, but for all my friends in Texas, I hope that the flooding wasn't too bad. I know that I've said before that I felt a lot of Gulf storms and definitely being pulled into Texas with a lot of coastal floodings. I hadn't heard that it was too bad, but I heard that there's another development kind of right after this tropical storm that went through Mexico, and even the East Coast. It kind of feels like there's activity this summer, but like end of summer, fall feels like it's when it's really heavy. I feel like quite a few substantial storms, and then all the wildfires. We have record heat here in the Northeast. But Mary Williamson says, will Canadian wildfires be so bad this year? Will they affect air quality in the U.S.? I do feel more fires in Canada, unfortunately, Mary. And I kind of feel like it's going to be very similar to last year, where even here in Ohio, I mean, it was there was a lot of smog and the air quality was horrible last year. Yeah, unfortunately. And I feel even besides the climate change stuff with the weather and the fires, even a lot more earth activity. Like I feel a couple good sized earthquakes around the world. I definitely feel like something around the West Coast here soon, and a couple more volcano eruptions too. So very active summer and I think fall. So just wanted to tap into that. But yeah, I do feel the air quality being bad in Canada and a lot of fires, unfortunately. All right. I don't want to read on what other psychics have read on Sandra, but I think it's a 4-month sentence, and I feel him being in there pretty close to the 4 months. But I've always felt more charges and additional jail time. So I don't know if it doesn't feel like it's the same sentence or it's like back to back. Maybe he's released for a few months and then I'm feeling a couple years. And to me, it feels like it's January 6th stuff. Obviously, those that helped Trump with the January 6th haven't been indicted yet. And we know how long it would take to it's going to take a year or two for some of those to be sentenced and charged. So, but I feel a couple more years of prison for Bannon. Absolutely. All right, and thank you so much, Lucy Claire. Appreciate you and joining our members program. Thank you. Oh, was Alito a no-show? It could be charged with theft from Build the Wall funds. Yeah, Yogi Bear. Absolutely. Yep, we'll definitely look at SCOTUS and immunity. I got that highlighted. All right. I was Alito not in court? I watched the news a little bit earlier to see about their rulings, and I did see. I was kind of surprised about the domestic violence. Being able to ban people's guns for that. I mean, we saw what they just did with pump stock. I feel some upsetting news with the Supreme Court. I'm just going to say, you guys, in the next week or two. I do feel like they might go into early July with their decisions too. The presidential immunity may come up next week, though. Thomas was the only one that voted against it. Yeah, I saw that, Dubsy. All right, what's going on with Alito? I think the pressure's starting to get to him, and there's more coming out. It doesn't feel like it was health related, but I kind of feel like it's with him being a no-show for the court, like it's involved with him and his wife. I think it's all the stress coming out about all the corruption, all the money that they've taken. Ooh, the tower. The tower's coming up for Alito. Being chained to the devil. It's the wife, I feel like. Was his reason for being a no-show. Justice is coming for them. He's stubborn and trying to hang on, but yeah, it feels like he was a no-show because of his wife. Something going on with his wife. If you've been following me for a while, you know I've said for a long time the Supreme Court, it's going to continue to kind of a lot of stories being released, and the dark money channels and who's bought and paid for, all of that being revealed before the election and even investigations afterwards. I do think that the Senate's going to really ramp up with investigating the Supreme Court. Yes, I agree. Thank you for the super sticker, Rose Blue. SCOTUS sucks as bad as Texas grid right now. Yeah. And I said too, I feel like the Texas infrastructure and the grid having problems with all of the weather and the heat this year, and I see it making a difference. It feels like some kind of scandal with the government that really turns a lot of people off, and I think is what gives Democrats the edge in Texas for the election. I don't know if Biden wins it. It feels like it's more purple, but I've often felt Ted Cruz is going to be voted out. And I see, like, over the next few years, a lot of more progressive change coming for Texas, and them getting their infrastructure all strengthened and you know, operating a lot better. All right. I do see Cannon being removed from the bench, but it feels like it's out there a little bit. Like I said, she's got a tower moment coming, but I feel like she's already off the case after that. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so he was not present. All right, let's take a look at the presidential immunity. I've said this. I'll throw some cards to see if the energy's changed, but I read on this with Sybil. I kind of feel like they're going to send it back to the lower courts. I don't see it. It doesn't feel like a full victory, but it doesn't feel like it's. They say that he has presidential immunity too. It's a delay tactic so that that case doesn't happen before the election. But I feel like something happens where the case is either able to be done short, like right before the election, or if Judge Cannon has to kind of go in and go through all the evidence and see what was done, as president, that he has immunity for, and what was done privately. So a lot of that information coming out before the election. But I also felt like, too, I was tapping in and I felt Trump being like really pissed off and angry with a female. To me, it felt like Amy Coney Barrett. So it feels like it's going to be close one way or the other. But let's just take a look and see what's going on with the presidential immunity. Ooh. Well, maybe we're in for a surprise. I just had the Tower and the Two of Cups fly out. Maybe it's a male and a female conservative that kind of blows it all up for Trump. It would have to be Robertson and well, I mean Kavanaugh's kind of went back and forth too. Yeah, again, male and female with the Lovers. It's interesting because as I'm tapping into the Supreme Court, I'm feeling like the secrets and how they've lived lavishly and they're bought and paid for being exposed. High Priestess with it. So like a lot of secrets coming out, and I kind of feel like they don't want to rock the boat too much too. They kind of want to stay in hiding because all of this stuff is coming out. It's so damning. They're trying to hang on to their power. It might not. I have the Chariot coming in, so it might be like the first week of July. It's either next week or the first week of July when the announcement's going to come out. We've all been watching and waiting for it. And there's some movement. There's some victory, but there's still some more work to do, too. So maybe we're surprised with two of the conservatives going over and saying presidents don't have an immunity. Like I said, and I definitely feel Trump being upset with Amy Coney Barrett. So I feel another case happening before the election, and I kind of feel like it's January 6th. So I guess we'll see. Cece says Barrett and Kagan read the January 6th indictment during the hearing and got Trump's attorney to admit those charges were not official acts. Okay, huge moments. Go to scan and hear that. Maybe that's it, because I feel Trump being really upset with Amy. Alan Roseblue says that Chuck Kinwood said that she'd cancel her vacay for the trial. Absolutely. Okay. Like I said, I think we'll find out next week or the very first week of July. I think that they're going to go over a little bit because they have a lot of cases to go through still too. But I see them. I do feel like a lot of us are kind of upset with some of the outcomes on some of these cases. Like I think there's one with the EPA. I feel like people being upset with that ruling. A few of them, people being upset with their rulings on it. All right. Let's look at this. This is a good one. Unique One says, hi, Kevin. With the Louisiana law about putting 10 commandments in schools, will it get overturned? Feels like it takes a little while, but eventually it does get overturned. I feel like Like it may take a year or two to kind of get that settled, unfortunately, but I see it being overturned. It's ridiculous. I mean, there's a separation of church and state for a reason, you know. These southern states just don't care. Yes, it'll be overturned. It's slow and steady progress, though. Yes, it's a little bit of a battle. I think it's going to be. It might actually even go all the way up to the Supreme Court. But yeah, I do feel it will be overturned. Yes, absolutely. I don't feel Georgia happening before the election, Yogi Bear. No, I don't. I feel well, and I don't know. I know that they're trying to get Fani off the case again. I don't see her going anywhere, but I do feel like there is some movement this summer with Georgia, but it doesn't feel like it's going to trial. I mean, there's other people that are indicted too, so. But no, to me, it feels like it's maybe starts more towards like early next year. Well, thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't see Lindsey Graham in his case for or in his in that seat for much longer. When is he up for re-election? Is it 26? I almost feel like he doesn't make it till the end of his term, like he just resigns. I mean, we're going to have a lot to read on the next couple of years too, because there's going to be so much investigations and so much stuff coming out. And like, we still have a lot coming out this year. But even when Trump loses, I feel like next year, 2025, being really active, a lot being exposed, 2026. And actually, Lindsey Graham's energy feels kind of sad to me because I feel like he's very shameful and regretful when he's out of power. I kind of feel like he's very isolated. I've always said I've kind of felt like his final outcome is kind of being in a dark room with empty liquor bottles everywhere, kind of like just feeling shame and just trying to get away from the public. 2026 for Graham. Yeah, he might leave next year. I don't think it'll be this year. All right. But I feel like he might not even finish out his term. If he does finish out his term, I don't think he'll run for re-election. Yeah, he's got some challenges coming up, but it's a little bit out there still. And then the ending, the death card, the loss. I almost wonder, though, if it's more so. Was Lindsey Graham one of the senators that went to Russia? Because to me, it kind of feels like getting in trouble for taking money that wasn't for him, being a bit foolish. There's a financial loss for him and the ending of his career, the death card. He's kind of sitting on his high horse right now, enjoying all the finer things and very kind of smug right now. But it feels like that energy shifting, a lot of stress kind of coming in for him. Let's take a look at Matt Gaetz. Oh, Georgia for Lindsey too. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it has to do with like the funding. everybody's saying Lindsay went to Russia. Okay. And then I don't know. People are saying yes and no, so I don't know. But I feel like he's in trouble for. It feels like it's financial related. Let's take a look at Matt Gaetz, because I think we're gonna hear more about. I feel a lot of pressure on him, and it's interesting too, because I almost feel like the Republican Party has just had enough of Gaetz, and even though they have such a close margin in the House, I feel like there's some Republicans that want to get rid of him. Has the House Ethics released a report into him already? Or are they just about to? Because I feel like yeah, he's got some problems, some trouble coming up. I do feel a conviction for him, Sharon, but it doesn't feel like it's right now. I always said too, I felt like one of the underage girls kind of coming forward and saying that, he slept with her when she was underage. The investigation's ongoing. Yeah, something's about to drop with that. Yeah, it's like I see a blonde-haired young woman coming through. I'm feeling restricted, bound and tied. Yeah, him being that predator, being very ruthless, impulsive. Yeah, he's not well either, mentally not well. It's going to be a bit of a fight. I see like a lot of Republicans up in arms over it. The thing is that he was very foolish acts with the women. The thing is though too, and I feel like there's money. I mean, it could be the January 6th stuff coming in too with the funding of that. But yeah, I feel a lot of Republicans being really upset and outraged with things that are going to be released. It doesn't feel like it's too far out here. Let's ask: is he going to be removed from Congress, or the Republicans going to vote him out? Let's take a look at that. Yeah, he has gotten away with a lot because of his father. Absolutely. All right. Are Republicans going to vote to remove Matt Gaetz? You're going to remove him from the House. Yeah, I feel like a female really pushing him out. Will they vote to remove Matt Gaetz from the House of Representatives, from the Congress? I'm getting a yes. Will Matt Gaetz be removed from the Congress? Yes. Yeah, I feel like he's heading in a bit of a different direction. He's defeated. But a woman coming out and up against him. Maybe the women Republicans are really outraged. No, they wouldn't lose their majority if Gaetz was out. They just won a couple special elections. I think they have like four seats on the Dems right now. Yeah, I think his seat he's in a red district, so I don't know if he would be voted out. But I even feel like McCarthy coming up against him, because he ousted McCarthy, so a lot of the McCarthy Republicans that supported him getting rid of him. He's going to get his karma. So Jim Jordan's in there for a little bit longer, Dwight, unfortunately. But I do feel like in the next year or two with the January 6th stuff, I've always felt like Jim Jordan having a lot of trouble because of that. But I see him being voted back in, unfortunately. All right. Christopher wants to know, will J.D. Vance lose his seat in the U.S. Senate election in 2026? Please and thank you. Is he up in 2026? I thought he just won 2022. It'll be 2028, right? Yeah, McCarthy started his own revenge tour. Yeah. Does anybody know if who was that Republican? McCarthy and Trump were trying to get out. Was it Bob Good? Does anybody know if he ended up losing his primary? We'll take a look too if Trump picks J.D. Vance as VP. I don't know about that. I think he's considering him, but I don't know about final outcome. I've always said maybe it's Tim Scott. I'm going to stick with my original prediction, but I do think Trump is seriously looking at J.D. Vance. But let's see, is he going to lose his Senate seat? I just heard yes. Ooh. Again, I keep seeing this Ace of Pentacles keeps coming up for all these Republicans, being the thief and stealing money, taking money that wasn't theirs. He's the hangman. He's the sacrifice, and I feel like there's some justice. There's some trouble for Vance. There's retreat and endings here. I almost wonder if a female takes his place, a female senator from Ohio. I'm not sure of any up and coming Democrats that are female in her state. Yeah, I thought it was 2028. Thank you. Well, I think if he picks Tim Scott, it goes into the narrative that all of these black men are going to vote for Trump, right? So anything to kind of try to get that base to vote for him, which is I don't really see it happening. Let's just ask. Is Donald Trump going to pick J.D. Vance as his vice president pick? Ooh, the pendulum's saying it's going to maybe to a yes, so he's looking at him strongly. Will Donald Trump pick Tim Scott as his VP pick? Went from maybe to no, so maybe it is Vance. Feels like a male to me. It doesn't feel like a female. Any other names we want to look at for VP? We can ask the pendulum. I don't think it's Doug Burgum. We'll ask. Will Donald Trump pick Doug Burgum for his vice president? I just heard no. No. Big no with the pendulum. Oh, Karen says, I've always felt J.D. Vance, white guy, no personality, bootlicker. He wants somebody to lick his boot. He wants a soldier, for sure. Tim Scott is kind of like that besides, being a black man. I don't see Don Jr. Is Don Jr. going to be Trump's VP pick? No. No. Is Donald Trump going to pick Ben Carson for his VP pick? No. Let's ask this. Is Donald Trump going to pick a man for his VP pick? Yes. It'll be a male. Tucker Carlson? No, I don't see that. Maybe it is JD Vance. Maybe it's between Vance and Tim Scott. No, he won't pick Nikki Haley as his VP pick. Oh, Rubio. Let's take a look at Rubio. Maybe it's those three men he's considering. Will Donald Trump pick Marco Rubio for his VP pick? Went to maybe to no. I think it's between those three. Vance, Rubio, and Tim Scott. Not Dr. Phil. All right, you guys. Let's do one more question or two, and then I got to wrap up. I have a reading in a little while. It's fun to hang out with everybody. I appreciate all the love. We have almost 1,000 people watching. Thank you all so much. Please do me a favor. Please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe. Who's from the same state? Would it be Marco Rubio? Well, when has Trump ever followed the law? Rose blue. So I don't know how that all works. But I think he is considering Rubio for sure. Oh, Marco Rubio wants to be Secretary of State. I could see that. Yeah, I agree. He doesn't really want a VP, but he'll have to pick one, and I feel like it's a male that worships him and somebody that's not pulling attention away from him, somebody that's a soldier, and Mike Pence was really that for Trump too for the longest time. I mean, he did do what was right for January 6th and certify the election, but yeah, I think I'll pick a VP. I do see him picking one. I don't feel Ben Carson at all. I could be wrong. I don't feel it. All right, let's see. I have one more question to start. Do we want to take a look at Devin Nunes? How's he feeling about Donald Trump's stock taking a dive? I don't see Trump fleeing. I feel like that's his last resort if he absolutely had to, but I feel like he's being watched too closely. I already read on the debate, Laura. It was the first thing I read on. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Trump will weasel his way out of it last minute, saying it was rigged, or he's already looking for ways to get out of it. If they do have a debate, which I hope that they do, there'll only be one. But it almost feels like very last minute he cancels. Well, thank you, Joe Ellen. Thank you for becoming a member. All right, what's going on with Devin Nunes? I don't feel like he's happy. I mean, obviously, but it just feels like being where he's doing the Untruth Social, correct? Is he in charge of running it? Because I just feel like he's miserable there. He's really regretting it. Ooh, yeah, and that's how he's feeling. 10 of Swords, backstab, betrayed, defeated. walking away. I don't know if he's able to walk away, but I see him wanting to resign. This is walking away. It's really not serving him. Like I said, there's a sadness, there's a depression there where he's at. Not feeling very well, very overwhelmed. I feel like there's some stuff coming out about that too. I always thought it was weird. It's hard to keep track of everything. I remember Nunes ran to Trump after one of the hearings, I think, went and tattled or told all the information to Trump. I don't remember what it was, but there's secrets coming out that he's restricted by, so he's kind of like trapped in this position, but he's heartbroken. He's not feeling very good. Movement coming out, the world watching him. Nunes will go back to his dairy farm. Could be. Yeah, he's not very happy right now, you guys. Something about intelligence. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was. And I remember it was reported he kind of ran out and went to the White House, but no, he absolutely told Trump some intelligence stuff during the impeachment. Okay, thank you. It's hard to remember. These cards are the Arcanum tarot card deck. These ones that I was just using. All right, everyone. Well, you all take care. Have a great weekend. Again, I'll have my members live on Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be doing many personal readings. And next week, I should be on Lori, the Way of Positive Changes channel Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we'll see what's going on with the news, if I come on Tuesday like I normally do, or maybe I'll come on a little bit later in the week, since me and Mel aren't doing shows for the next few weeks. So I'll let everybody know. But yeah, you all take care and have a great weekend. Go to my website, kevinlovingvibrations.com, if you want to book a reading or a Reiki session, and I'll see you all real soon. Take care, everyone. All right, bye-bye.